All right, cool. We are live and ready to rock. Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for coming. Well, let's get going. All righty. Welcome everybody to the Student Chapter of the Wildlife Society's General Member Meeting. We've got some student spotlights today, so thanks for joining us. So if you guys want to go out on projects and volunteer and get some experience, you're going to have to pay dues this year. So if you want to pay $5 for next semester, if you're just going to be here for that, you can do that. Otherwise, if you still want to pay the $8 a year, you still can. There's two ways to pay that. There's the online payment option using PayPal with my email there, or you can drop off cash at my office hour on Mondays from 10 to 2. And if you're using the PayPal, make sure to do friends and family so you don't get charged a fee. And if you have any questions, Brian and myself, Melinda, are happy to help with that. Melinda.
Yep, as Nate said, dues are necessary to go out on projects. So is a hold harmless form and our general membership form. I've said this every meeting so far this semester. You guys probably all heard this and are all probably members. But I sent all this out in an email at the beginning of the semester, but if you do have questions, feel free to email me.
Awesome. Thank you, Melinda. Lizzie.
All right, our conservation topic this week is about the plastic predicament in the ocean. I'm sure all of you have heard about it, seen different things on social media of people rescuing like the sea turtle that has plastic all wrapped in it. Well, the environmental organization Oceana recently came out with a report of like all the incidents of marine mammals and sea turtles, and either their incidents of ingesting plastic or being entangled in it. And this is since 2009. So the report showed over 1,800 individuals, and that's only the ones that have been documented. So like in reality, there's probably way more animals than that than we even know that are just, dying, and we have no clue that they're out there suffering. But 88% of the animals that were a part of these 1,800 individuals were threatened or endangered. And they found that bags, balloons, recreational fishing line, plastic sheeting, and food wrappers were most commonly the things that were consumed by animals. And then the things that most commonly entangled animals were plastic packing straps, bags, balloons, and like those strings on them, and sheeting. So it's just a good reminder, be aware of how much plastic you use. I know none of us are like throwing, trash in the ocean, but like it just helps to like reduce our plastic waste now. So it's always a good reminder. As you see, this picture is a turtle that's all the plastic they ingested, and then they must have been entangled too, so they're bandaged up from that. So with that, I can move on to our quiz bowl. So about the report I just mentioned, which of these animals included in the Oceana report is not threatened or endangered? See how well you guys know your marine life.
Answers coming in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending it. Sharing the results.
All right, you guys got it. Bottlenose dolphins are not threatened or endangered in the United States. But the rest of these species that were a part of the report are either threatened or endangered. And I didn't know this, but all 6 species of sea turtles that are like in US waters, they're all endangered, which is really sad.
Alrighty, yes, thank you, Lizzie.
All right, so lots of important stuff here. Our apparel is coming this Thursday. So we are going to allow you guys to pick it up in the TNR, in the TWS office. I didn't put it on the slide, but I will definitely email all of this information out again to you to remind you. but our office is 359A. I know you guys haven't had to utilize it a lot this semester, but we do have an office. So this Monday the 7th, you will be allowed to pick up your apparel from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So like, that's a good 6-hour chunk of time. Hopefully you can come in, grab your apparel. And if this doesn't work for you, if you have work or something, email me as soon as you can and we'll try and set up another arrangement. Oh no, okay. And then the other thing is that I mentioned this last week that our button design is finished for Dr. Hinkstrom. So we're gonna need some nice quotes for him. Yeah, Emily added a nice little hay bale there underneath the white tail. So yeah, if you have any quote ideas or phrases or anything, email them to me. My email is on the bottom of the slide there.
Awesome. Thank you, Lizzie.
And then last thing for me, the senior slideshow is coming up. So if you are graduating this semester, or if you know someone who's graduating, feel free to send me pictures. They can be good, they can be bad, they could be ugly and embarrassing, whatever you want. We gotta show off our seniors and send them off since they're leaving us this semester. So if you don't send me pictures, I'll find some, and I can't guarantee they'll be nice. So email any pictures of seniors you know or of yourself to my email, which is there at the bottom of the slide.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Lizzie. I gotta see what I did here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Seniors, get those photos in. Brian.
This is past, so if you've submitted that request for moving your money, I will be getting those in this week and I'll notify those projects that have done that, and then they can start buying whatever they need.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. It's Mackenzie here.
Can you guys hear me today?
We can hear you.
Okay, sweet. So today is the last day to submit an abstract for the Wisconsin chapter of the Wildlife Society annual meeting. And this takes place virtually from February 22nd to February 26th. And the link is below. But I also sent out an email with information today too. And if you have any questions, you can email me. And this is just a great first conference to present in if you're nervous and about it, and it'll be a good leadway to the CNR symposium too.
Awesome. Thank you, Mackenzie. Yes, great opportunity, guys. Hop on these conferences while you can. They're nice and cheap. They're online. It'll be easy for you.
Seeing our Bible study tomorrow. Right now we're going through a video series called the Bible Project, and specifically the one that we're going through tomorrow from 7 to 8 is about strength and how to find strength in difficult times and stressful times. So, which I think is especially good to hear when finals are coming up and we're gonna need all the strength we can get. So yeah, 7 to 8, the Zoom link is on the slide there. And if you're interested, you can email me if that's easier. I can email the Zoom link. Yeah, like to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you, Melina. So I extended the Fisher Project application due date for one more week because I didn't want to end during break. So one more week to get these in. This next Sunday, December 6th at 11:59 p.m. Those will be due. Give you guys one last chance to get those Fisher Project applications in. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right, that's me. Okay, so guys, if you want to have your Instagram featured by the Wildlife Society for an upcoming event, you should really email me or Shelby, both of us. Email us your Instagram and make sure that there's nothing inappropriate on there. I feel like that should be self-explanatory, but gotta say it. I'm gonna send our emails in the chat. This will be open for this week, and then I gotta start putting it together for winter break. So
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. Shelby.
Hello, guys. So every Friday, we feature a wildlife photo taken by one of our members on our Instagram and Facebook page for what we call Fauna Friday. So if you've taken any cool wildlife photos recently or in the past, you can send them in by DMing our Instagram page or by emailing me. And then you can follow our student chapter on multiple platforms. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and even add us on Snapchat with the code up on the slide. And if you ever miss one of our meetings, they are recorded, and you can find those recordings on both our website and our YouTube channel.
Sweet. Thank you, Shelby. Alrighty, guys, that does it for announcements. Next week, we're back into our speaker series with George Meyer, who's the executive director of the Wisconsin Wildlife Federation. Super awesome guy. Been working with him for a few years now, and he's going to talk to us about like policy and how environmental policies work, conservation policies. How are we protecting our wildlife at the state, legislative levels, all that stuff. So should be a super awesome talk. Excited for that. So don't miss that one next week. And that'll be our second to last meeting of the semester, the last speaker. But without further ado, this week we have two students highlighting some awesome work they did in the summer. So without further ado, I will have Adam start us off here. You should be able to share your screen once I stop. And you guys are good to go.
Right, okay. Okay. Are you seeing anything?
We're good.
We're good to go. Okay. Okay, so I'm Adam, and I'm here to talk about a trip I went on last February to Tanzania. So, who am I and what did I do? I'm a wildlife ecology major here at UWSP. I'm currently a sophomore. I run cross country and track, and in February of 2020, I skipped class for 2 weeks to go to Tanzania on an independent study. While there, I helped teach 36 East African sustainable agriculture, and the particular discipline is called permaculture, which we'll discuss later. And after that, I was fortunate enough to go on a 3-day safari in the Serengeti. So what is permaculture? Permaculture is a fusing of the words permanent agriculture, and it's the creation of agriculture systems that mimic native fauna and flora. And because of this, they don't need intensive care. Instead, they're impossible to destroy because they're what's meant to be there. So we basically implement human cultivars of the plant communities that have been existing in native regions for thousands of years, and that's why they proliferate so well. And by implementing permaculture systems, we can do 4 things: end Earth's 6th mass extinction, mitigate the impact of climate change, raise the food security and income of people worldwide, and 4, improve soil quality. The basic process here is we dig water harvesting ditches called swales because water is the #1 essential plant nutrient. And we plant trees on them to facilitate not only erosion control and loss of water, but facilitate water movement through the landscape. 80% of the land is still used to grow traditional row crops, and 20% is being used for perennials. So what this creates is you get half the yield you would usually get from your perennials, you get 80% of your row crop yield, and you end up with 130% of what you would normally produce. And this enables you to produce more human calories per acre while keeping the land as functional wildlife habitat. So, and the pictures here in the bottom left is an African cornfield, which is really just pitiful. It's like 4-foot tall corn with like 6-inch ears, and there's 2 or 3 on a stalk. And on the right is the systems we implement, and they're not really great pictures, but they illustrate like there's food everywhere. And these systems are multi-layered, and so you diversify niches, and therefore you can produce more food, fuel, and fiber. Okay, so this is cool, Adam, but like how? So I was fortunate enough to procure an excess of scholarship funds, and I had to burn them within a time frame, and so I was looking for a way to do that. So Mark Shepard, which is the guy in these 2 photographs, an acquaintance of mine and turned mentor, suggested I go along on this trip. From there, I pitched the idea to the Office of International Studies and got it signed off, and then I notified my professors. After that, I went to Africa, and I understand this is not a route that everybody can take, but if you look close enough, it isn't all that hard to find similar opportunities. And this experience alone opened so many doors for me afterward. I'm actually going back. I have a summer internship in Uganda that's supposed to take place, but with COVID, that's kind of up in the air. Okay, so what does any of this have to do with wildlife ecology? So regenerative agriculture creates habitat for wildlife. This is imperative because, as you all know, the 2 largest threats to wildlife are habitat destruction and fragmentation. In concert with its benefits to wildlife, systems such as these create food, fiber, building materials, and fuel for the people which manage them, which suspends the need to get them from the bush. So you create enough food and fuel and fiber on this landscape that you don't have to cut down trees and kill elephants and the like. And these are just a couple pictures of endangered chameleons that I found in our system in Tanzania. And all of those pictures, the system we set up is only like 5 years old. So because it's the tropics, because it's sub-Saharan Africa, everything just grows so fast, and so we can really make an impact very quickly. What does implementing a system such as this entail? So first, you observe the land. You look at the climate, you look at the topography, and you look at what you want to do with it. And then you mark out the contours for your swales, your water harvesting ditches, also known as permastructure, right? Permaculture infrastructure. So then you dig these out, you plant the trees on them, and basically, besides managing the row crops within the system, you watch it manage itself. This is nature taking place, and so usually we just let it take place as nature does, and you guide it in the right direction when necessary. Okay. Why does any of this matter? So as wildlife biologists, we face an unforeseen amount of challenges and balance of competing interests, and these systems are simply the best way I've found of fulfilling all of these competing interests in the best way possible. They fulfill the needs of the people, the planet, and its biota by using vegetation regimes that are native to the places they are implemented. Principally, this matters to me because I like to study and watch wildlife, and that's really difficult if they don't exist. So, and then these are just some pictures from Safari, which was amazing. You can see why they call the Serengeti the endless plain, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, my email's there, and I'd love to, talk more about this to you. So.
Any advice for those who want to start an independent study like you did?
Don't be afraid to ask. Just, it's pretty easy to get in contact with the right people. And if you want, phone numbers, etc., don't hesitate to contact me. But yeah, really, it's just asking, the right people if you can do things. And everybody at Point tried to help me make this work. And there's a lot of people that I couldn't have done this without. So.
How do you know Mark Shepard?
I deer hunt on his property, so that's how we met. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Do you know Dave Bainline?
I do.
Dude, I took his permaculture design course in Washington. I spent 100 hours with him.
Really?
Yeah, in Monroe. That's really cool, man. That blew my mind when you mentioned him. Thanks. Great presentation.
Great guy. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. That was super cool to see. Took me back to my own Africa memories. Any other questions for Adam? Feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourselves. Otherwise, thank you so much, Adam. It was awesome.
Right.
Okay, if no other questions, it looks like it is all you, Brylan.
Right. Okay, is that good? Okay. So today I will be talking to you guys about my internship that I had over the summer. I was the Buffalo County Natural Resources intern, and we'll get started. So I found this job, this internship it was posted on both Texas A&M Job Board and Handshake. So those are definitely some great places to look for summer jobs. It was announced in late January. There were interviews in March, and the interview process was pretty general. There were a lot of general questions that you would see in a normal interview, and then there were also situational questions like, what would you do if you ran into this situation while working on a piece of property and you had to talk to a landowner, for example. I did a conservation topic presentation, and I did mine on bluff prairies, but there was a ton of different other topics that you could present on to the interview panel. And then there was a practical exam that had animal, fish, and plant ID. So overall, this internship gives a lot of great opportunities to work with a wide variety of conservation agencies. I worked with the county, which was the Land Conservation Department, the state, which was primarily the DNR, and then federal agencies like NRCS on a lot of different projects. And because I worked with all these different agencies, I got a lot of exposure and experiences in waters, wildlife, forestry, fisheries, and soils. So your main natural resources fields. So this was a paid internship that normally goes 12 weeks. Mine was 8 weeks. But in a normal year, it's a one intern for 12 weeks. And that intern works 35 to 40 hours a week from May to August. And this is a cool internship, and they're really great about being flexible with you on start dates if you have to start later or end earlier or something like that. So they're really cool, and they're really understanding in that aspect. The qualifications for applying, you have to be a college student with 1 year under your belt and be pursuing a degree in natural resources, have a basic knowledge of wildlife ecology, conservation, animals, and plant ID, and then just be able to work in rugged terrain. Being in the driftless area, there's a lot of bluffs you need to climb, a lot of, especially being in the summer, it's usually pretty hot, working independently or on a team. This year, we didn't get to work in a lot of teams just because of COVID, but I did have another intern that I worked with as well, and then just have effective communication. So we'll go over some of the projects that I worked on. So for the county land conservation department, I did a lot of natural resources engineering, which was a whole new field that I didn't even think about as being, something so important. And we did a lot of dams and flood mitigation on farms, especially the farms that are on top of the bluffs. So we were working in these drainage ditches, trying to determine how much runoff will be flowing down, and trying to build and just trying to make sure that the people at the bottom of the bluff aren't being impacted by people at the top of the bluff. And with that, I got to work with landowners and contractors because these projects took place mainly on private land. I got to do a lot of land surveying, especially with the stadia rods and the laser levels. So that was a great introduction for Tree Haven. That helped a lot. I did some stream monitoring with the Water Action Volunteering Program, the WAVE program. And I was looking at, velocities of the different streams, the oxygen levels, phosphorus levels, as well as the bioindicators with the insects. So that was fun. We did some prairie restoration where we weed whacked and put down some cardboard for soil solarization. And then we came in and then we sprayed it all in preparation for planting next year. And then we just did some invasive species control. There I was cutting some black locusts that were encroaching on a structure. And that was so the roots of the trees don't damage the flood structure in the future. And then in the beginning of this summer, I worked with parks a lot because a lot of the other agencies weren't doing a lot of work in the field. So I went down to Merrick State Park and Pro State Park doing a lot of trail maintenance, hazard tree removal. There's a bunch of ash that are being devastated by the emerald ash borer. So those needed to come down in the campgrounds. And there was also some storms that created some damage on trails that we needed to clean up. I got to ride around on the mower and cut grass in the campground, so that was fun. And then just general park duties, cleaning some bathrooms, building picnic tables, painting, chainsaw maintenance. And I got to work with the forester a lot this summer. We did some timber cruising and some timber marking for CRP, or the Conservation Reserve Program. And we went on a bunch of different stands and did some re-enrollment assessments, trying to figure out if the stocking rates were correct for a stand to be re-enrolled in the program. We did some invasive species control on properties in order to get them ready to be harvested. So it made post recon a lot easier, and it just helped the people who were coming in to buy the timber a lot easier as well. We worked on cost share properties, and we went in and determined if the landowners were doing what was needed in order to improve their forest while still abiding to the rules of the cost share program. And then we did some post-harvest recon, going in, looking at the stocking rates, determining when they need to come in and harvest again, and doing some site indices. And then I got to go out with fisheries with the fisheries biologist, which was super fun. We spent 2 whole days on the Mississippi River shocking a bunch of cool fish, a lot of fish that you don't usually catch. I don't usually catch them because they're big, and I'm not very good at catching big fish. But got to see a lot of cool fish, and a lot of cool fish that I've never even really seen, you know, little teeny tiny guys that you don't ever know that are out there. So there was a lot of fish ID and data entry as well. Got to wrestle a bunch of bowfin, which was super fun, but they were very slippery and slimy. And then I got to work with wildlife and NHC on a lot of their bluff prairies. So we were at Maiden Rock and Trenton State Natural Area mostly. And one of the cooler things we got to do was peregrine banding. So we went out and we basically watched a bunch of guys rappel down a 400-foot bluff trying to catch peregrines, and then they'd bring them up and we could watch them band. So that was pretty fun. I think we only got 4, but there were more that they couldn't get to that time. But like I said before, a lot of it was on the bluff prairies doing restoration projects. And a lot of that was invasive species control with chainsaws. As you can see in one of the pictures, I'm standing in front of one of the really big piles we made of buckthorn. And that's in preparation for a winter burn. We did some pesticide application on invasive plants like bird's foot trefoil and sweet clover, just trying to get the non-native species out of the prairie. We did aspen girdling, which was pretty fun until we got to the super big aspen where you almost needed a chainsaw, but we did it by hand. And then some hand pulling just of that sweet clover just to make things easier for the future. And this part of the internship was really geared toward hands-on experience, just trying to get all those management techniques down. So some of the highlights of the internship, like I said, it was a great hands-on experience, and it had a lot of opportunities to work with new tools that I've never used before, and just see all these different management techniques working in a lot of different fields, whether it was in the streams or whether it was on the bluff, just seeing how all of those fields interact with each other. I got to work on a lot of different projects. Every day was a new day. I have a calendar in the office where I could see who I was going out with every day, and it was a lot of different cool things. There's a lot of awesome professionals to work with. There's a lot of cool people that I got to meet and just get to know a lot better. And then these experiences helped me with my future courses. It gave me a lot more insight. I knew more things for Tree Haven, and I will definitely be using all of these techniques and experiences in my future career. So with that, that's all I have. If there's any questions, I will take those.
Woo! Thank you, Brylan. Any questions, guys?
You think you'll ever go back?
I don't. It's not a returning type of internship, so I guess I've overstayed my welcome.
But I'm sure you missed the driftless region, right?
Yep.
Any rattlesnakes at the top of those bluffs, Brylan?
I didn't see any. They were still in there, and they're still hibernating at that time.
Gotcha.
And we didn't get to, in a normal year, there's a lot of more stuff to do, like duck banding, goose banding, rattlesnake surveys like that. So I missed a lot of stuff, but I got a lot of different other experiences as well.
Sweet. Looks like you got a chat question.
I can't see anything. Can you read it?
Yeah, of course. So, Jason Riddle asks, favorite piece of big equipment?
It's between that really big chainsaw. It's probably the big chainsaw. I like that a lot. I stole that from the park ranger at Pro State Park, so so we got to use that on the super big ash trees at the park.
Alrighty. Any other questions, guys? If not, thank you so much, Brylan. It was great to see that. Super cool internship. Is this only for undergrads?
Yes.
Cool. Keep an eye out for this one, guys.
Yep. They're tentatively going to be having one 12-week internship this summer.
Cool. Alrighty. If no more questions, I will